Spectraless databases can be limited by substructure and identifications, and I will show that in a PCP-related compounding using the NIST hybrid search and Spectraless databases. This work was done by David Sparkman and myself, using a white powder to be identified, using the NIST hybrid search and Spectraless databases using SciFinder with the CAS Registry and ChemSpider. As mentioned before, this did not show up in our original articles in the Journal of American Society for Mass Spectrometry, but was added at a later date using substructures to refine the searches. Spectraless databases such as ChemSpider and the CAS Registry can be very useful for unknown identifications, especially when you limit the search results by substructural information. You can find more free information on known unknowns with resources at the end of my presentation. In many cases, someone knows the identity of my unknown. I just need to find that information, thus the term known unknowns. I did not coin this term. It was actually one used by Donald Rumsfeld, the former United States Secretary of Defense, and it's shown below. Known unknowns can be identified with spectraless databases, in general ones that have no associated spectra, though there might be a few spectra in CAS Registry. It's not mainly curating spectra associated with structure. There's a huge number of records in ChemSpider and the CAS Registry compared to the spectra available in mass spectral libraries for searching. As you can see above, around 1.2 million in each of the type of libraries, but there's 50 million records in ChemSpider, and there's 127 million records in the CAS Registry, with about 15,000 added each day. ChemSpider is free, but there's a fee associated with the use of SciFinder. You can search ChemSpider and CAS Registry by molecular weight or molecular formula, but of course this indicates that one must have accurate mass data to have either of these things to search with. The CAS Registry can only be searched by molecular formula, which can be a problem when you get up and above 500 to 600 molecular weight. It's hard to get one molecular formula from an accurate mass data. ChemSpider, of course, can be searched by both accurate mass and molecular formula, which is very useful. All of these and both of these searches are refined by keywords, the number of associated references, and as we've shown in this work, we've added substructure. Our original work in the Journal of Mass Spectrometry, 2 articles, did not include substructure, but it's a very valuable parameter used to refine these searches. Of course, the final candidates are reviewed using the fragmentation data from the mass spectral data, sample history, etc., to hopefully arrive at one structure for the unknown. These spectralist database searches can be shown to be especially powerful when used with the novel NIST hybrid search as shown in this presentation. The hybrid search generates a similarity score matching both fragments and neutral losses, and the mass difference must be confined to a single region of the molecule with no significant alteration of fragmentation behavior. Delta mass is the mass difference between the molecular weights of the query, the unknown, and the library spectra, and reflects the modification of the molecule. The delta mass value is used to shift neutral loss peaks in the library spectrum to match those corresponding to the neutral loss peaks in the query spectrum to yield this hybrid mass spectrum search score. More free information is available in the hybrid searches and courses that are listed at the end of my presentation, and the work came from, the description of the hybrid search came from the article that is shown from the NIST laboratory at the bottom of the slide. The hybrid search results are shown for our unknown that we are using to demonstrate the software in our talk, and we found that the hybrid search yields one promising hit. The match is greater than 800 as shown in the table here, and the delta mass is 54, and the best matching structure that gives us clues about our unknown is shown below in the best match spectrum. This compound that's got this bicyclic ring with an aromatic is related to a PCP-related type species. The summary of the mass spec results show that the hybrid search indicates a PCP-related compound. You can see the structure shown right here. for the PCP-related compound, the best match, and that's part of a PCP-type related series of compounds, and it's shown to the left over here is angel dust, PCP. The accurate mass data for the unknown indicate a molecular formula of C21H29N from DART mass spec analyses. And the best match, as I said before, has a molecular formula of C17H23N. This indicates the addition of a C4H6 part to the molecule compared to the best match, plus an additional double bond equivalent. So you can see below the best match has added C4H6 to give something with 8 double bond equivalents. We just have to figure out what has been added over here where I've shown this generic circle here, what makes the spectrum difference between the best match and the unknown. Here is our typical previous approach using SciFinder and the hybrid search results. One would use the molecular formula search, and from that search we would get 4,342, which is just too many to be useful even when sorted by the number of associated references. So you can see below we searched and we had 78 references at the top, going down as we descended in the order of the results. But if you look at the structures that are obtained, there's really no useful data that can be found real close to the top of the search. So we really need to refine the search. So we'll do that by using the number of groups attached to the piperidine ring or the benzene in SciFinder. And this work was done by Adam Howard at Eastman, who showed me how to start limiting the search by structures or substructure. So the approach was not included in our initial known-unknown references. So we allowed no substitution of both rings by including hydrogens and a molecular formula by putting the hydrogens on the rings that allowed no substitutions to occur. And so we limited using this substructure here to refine the searches that we found by molecular formula to hopefully narrow the number of possibilities. And when we did that, only 2 of the 4,342 results had consistent structures. They were the 2 shown below. One was actually the actual compound that we ultimately identified was this one, but it did show 2. Number 1 had 9 references and 4 suppliers, and result 2 had 2 references and 0 suppliers. So it kind of indicated that this might be our best one here, as opposed to the second best hit. So now we're going to demonstrate the same type of approach using ChemSpider, using monoisotopic mass instead of molecular formula, and a similarity structure search. And this, again, was not included in our original ASMS article. This is just following up on the approach Adam uses in SciFinder, used with ChemSpider. So just the monoisotopic mass search with the window below. You put in the accurate mass and limit the search by the accuracy of the precision of your measurement. And I found 4,238 results. Again, too many to really look through. But if you use both the monoisotopic mass search and the Tanimoto, which is a similarity search for structure or substructure, using the best hit from our hybrid search, you can also limit how close you want it to match between different levels. I use 90%. There are other ones available with the pull down menu. And I found only 1 result, which is the highest result that we found in SciFinder, which actually did turn out to be the identity of the compound when it was refined by some other information. Well, here are the results summarized leading to the identification of the unknown. The hybrid search was critical in suggesting a PCP-related substructure for refining the Spectraless database searches. The molecular formula, of course, was necessary, and it was determined by DART. SciFinder and ChemSpider yielded 2 candidate structures. The structure was determined from these 2 by proton NMR, as shown in the structure below. And its identity was a PCP-related unknown with an adamantane ring fused to the other part of the PCP molecule. So in conclusion, by limiting ChemSpider and SciFinder searches by substructure is a very valuable addition to our known-unknown process. especially when utilized with the NIST hybrid search. I would like to share with you some of the links that are on my website, and they include free training courses on the hybrid searches, an overview of our general approach at Eastman, the two original ChemSpider and CAS Registry works that did not use substructure search to refine, but on those sites you'll find this presentation and some information. The NIST literature reference on the hybrid search is particularly useful in the literature. And we also have Wiley Know-It-All software training course for the identification using their adaptive search, which is very similar to the hybrid search, but you can use it for adding infrared and NMR searches to your identification process. And also at the end of this, I have a brief article that Adam wrote about his initial work on SciFinder that I will share with you. The contributors were a large group of people in Stephen Stein's group at NIST, so the people at Eastman, of course. Anthony Williams, for his ChemSpider work with us, he now works at the EPA, and I think he's working on something called an EPA dashboard that's similar to the ChemSpider you might want to have a look at. And Stacy Edwards for letting us use her instrument for our original work on the SciFinder. Thank you for your attention.